Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Suci Pratiwi. My student number is 2018111048. Today I will answer two questions. The first one is how are you going to use those methods in teaching? There is 5 ways. Number 1, grammar translation. Number 2, written literary text. Number 3, direct method, also called natural method. Number 4, everyday spoken language. And the last, number 5, audio-lingual methods. And the second question is indicate their strength and the weakness. Number 1, grammar translation. Why would I use this method? Grammar translation focus on the application of grammar and correct sentence structures. This is especially helpful in teaching students how to write and read in another language, allowing them to explore intricate words and phrases. For example, different words for different tenses more effectively than a verbal teaching method. Tests of grammar rules and of translation are easy to construct. Class activities or learning games and really necessary as students are translating text or another language directly. Teachers who are not fluent in English but fluent in the other language that the students primarily use can teach English using this approach, as the emphasis is not on the spoken word but on translation. Strength. Students learn a lot of vocabulary. Reading and writing skills are excelled. It activates students' memory. Weakness. Poor listening and speaking. Unnatural and inaccurate pronunciation. Grammar translation is not interactive and engaging for students. Opportunities. It gives the chance of learning a new language using textbooks. Students can learn vocabulary not only in the target language but also in their mother tongue. Third, students might not accustomed to translate word by word. Written literary text. Why would I use this method? Because written literary text is one sense. It was too harsh a method and the teacher to distant to encourage a communicative atmosphere. Students often needed more guidance and overcorrection than the primitive. Teachers had to resist their instinct to spell everything out in the black and white to come to the aid of students at the slightest downfall. Strength. It helps reading skills, more interaction between students. Students improve their vocabulary. Weakness. Uses of chart will be only with small groups. Teaching guide is not enough. Opportunities. Students have the chance of correcting their own mistakes by themselves. Teacher is only a moderator. Good relationship between students. Traits. Too much silence is not good. Number 3, direct method, also called natural method. Why should I use this method? Because in contrast with the grammar translation, the direct method is one target. It can be very effective at creating fluent speakers of the target language who can actually use it to get by in day-to-day situation. Teacher may also ask the students question, have them fill in the blanks in an example sentence, or have them read from a work of literature. All of these techniques emphasize the direct method's core strength, teaching students to be able to speak the target language rather than merely be able to translate it. Strength. This method is focused on question-answer patterns. Grammar is taught inductively. The most important aspect is spoken language, so that pronunciation and grammar are taken into account should be more than on the time during the lesson. Instructions are given in the target language. Weakness. There is no attention to some areas like reading and writing. It is not convenient for large classes. For people that are accustomed to teach or to be taught with the grammar translation method, direct method may not hold well. Opportunities. On the one hand, it will be good change for students to improve our knowledge about grammar and to excel of our pronunciation. And at the other hand, it is a good method for intermediate and advanced teacher to make students skillful. Comparing this method with the grammar translation, this one will open more doors now. Threats. As we showed before, some risks of this method are that the being focused in grammar and pronunciation, teachers will lack reading and writing activities, and a good teaching method must fulfill the four skill activities: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Number 4, everyday spoken language. Why I use this method? Because I consider that this method must be taken into account for the ones of teacher who knew language, because it creates a good environment as a community and is a good method to improve the skill of speaking. I like this method because it makes the learners independent since they decide what they want to talk about in certain class. Moreover, this method does not need a lot of material to give the class. However, it can have some disadvantage like the lack of writing, but I consider this is a good method of teaching a second language. Strength. Work well with lower level students who are struggling in spoken English. It creates a warm, sympathetic, and trusting relationship between teacher and learners. The method is created on the learner's weakness. Writing the language is not important. The teacher can become too non-directive. Students often need direction. Fluency is more important than accuracy. Opportunities. The teacher does not need to allow of material. Counselor allow the learners and determine type of conversation. It is a good opportunity for learners to become independent. Threats. Teacher has to be highly proficient in the target language and in the language of students. It can be time consuming to carry out. Teacher might neglect the need for guidance. The last, number 5, audio-lingual method. Why would I use this method? Because as the grammar translation method, students can learn by repetition. Students pay attention and carry a sequence of that they are doing, but despite of learn it in the class. Teachers can make activities to be performed at the home so they can practice writing and reading. It sounds really boring, the fact that students have to repeat only. Teacher might find the way to make it interesting and look for different and funny activities. Strength, automatic learning without stopping. It is emphasized in sentence production. Weakness, too much repetition error were not necessarily to be avoided at all costs. No meaningful learning opportunities. Take advantage of pronunciation skills. Most part of the lesson is given in the target language. Traits. It must develop language competence better. Material must be oriented to the students. Okay, I think that's enough. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.